Hey everybody, check it out. It's your boy Onyx again with a Throwback Thursday. Hey, today's Throwback Thursday subject comes to me from my Twitter follower and Periscope follower, The Lone Prince. Many of us are too young to remember when this originally ran, but there was a character on Hanna-Barbera's cartoon shows called Space Ghost. He pretty much had, a little battle cry that sounded like this. Now, Space Ghost basically was a cartoon show created in 1966. It was actually originally set up to be Space Ghost and Dino Boy. Okay, I believe that was it, Space Ghost and Dino Boy? Space Ghost and Dino Boy. Space Ghost and Dino Boy ran from 1966 to 1968. Basically, the stories were not intertwined. Dino Boy and Space Ghost were totally two unrelated cartoons. But Space Ghost had 42 episodes. Dino Boy had around 12 or 18 episodes. And like I say, it ran for 2 years. The key things about Space Ghost, he actually cashed in on the popularity of superheroes and teen sidekicks back in the 1960s. So pretty much you had Space Ghost with his two sidekicks, Jen and Jace, the twins, and their space monkey Blip, as they went around patrolling the galaxy as these intergalactic police officers fighting different supervillains like Moltar, Borak, Brak, and Creature King and the Spider-Woman or Black Widow, depending on which episode you watched. That's what they called it. Though this was a highly popular cartoon back in the time, it did run for 2 years, went into a break, and you would only be able to catch Space Ghost in syndication. That was until 1981, where he was resurrected on NBC as part of Hanna-Barbera's show Space Stars. Now, Space Stars basically had the Space Ghost and other, superhero teen type space superheroes like the Teen Force with Kid Comet, who actually they wrote in to the Space Ghost story as the boyfriend of Jan. So you had this run on NBC for roughly about, I think it was a year, with different, 22 new segments. So it was roughly about 1 year, one season. But then the mothballs again, Space Ghost could only be seen in syndication. Now, some people would say, well, this might not have been a very popular character. So, it lacked 2 years, syndication. 1 year, syndication. No long-staying power. But come 1994, they made a parody on Turner Broadcasting's Cartoon Network called Space Ghost Coast to Coast. This was a combination of live action and cartoon comedy where they made Space Ghost a talk show host, much like in the genre of David Letterman and all those type of things. And then what happened is they took all the villains, gave them these wacky personas, and they ended up being his co-host, cast, and all that good stuff on Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Space Ghost would then interview some of the top stars of the time, like Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Jim Carrey, Carrot Top, and all these different people who thought they were actually being really interviewed, and then they would get these vague, different types of questions and comments, and pretty much it lent to the humor of the show. This ran on Cartoon Network for a number of years. Let me check my notes. This basically continued from 1994 to 2004. 10 years. And it was also responsible for the launch of the highly popular Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which just recently had its last episode appear on Cartoon Network. Space Ghost also had an appearance in comic book media. Yeah, they had the old school Gold Key comics back in the 60s that kind of mirrored the TV show. Then they had a couple of younger audience cartoon style comic books that were put out later on by Marvel Comics and other, different little comic book companies. And then the most noticeable would have been the 2005 reimagining of Space Ghost as a serious superhero once again. Much along the same lines as a Lone Ranger or a RoboCop style, where he was a lawman and then he ended up being left for dead and became the Space Ghost. So pretty much that's it for Going Full Nerd and a Throwback Thursday. Once again, I'd like to thank the Lone Prince for the bringing up Space Ghost, and I can share that information about him to you guys. And check us out again here at Going Full Nerd for everything dealing with comic books, TV, movies, and video games. Peace.